Try Cuban motion. It is not easy. Now, turn your feet out completely like this. Try Cuban motion. Чуть-чуть проблем. Right? So difficult. Cuban motion will work best. And this, I understand. A lot of things I'm going to say today may be controversial. Maybe you heard different. Doesn't matter. Try. I think feet must be a little bit turned out. Not only in stationary position, also in the walk. Why? Because of Cuban motion. Cuban motion goes in the figure 8 or pendulum, diagonal forward, and rotation around the spine. Why? Because the weight of the hip, the weight of the center will travel through the foot. It will go directly following the foot. So this is why it will go diagonal forward, because the foot is turned out. You understand? If the feet are straight, where is the hip going to go? Forward. In a walk, but also in this position, it's the same thing. So if you tell me that you're going to do Cuban motion figure 8 in a cucaracha, but you're going to go forward and around in a walk, no problem. Keep your feet straight. But if you it must be turned out. Not too much. If you turn out too much, that gives you also the wrong shape. Then the hips go to the side the wrong way, or you're in the check. Right? So in the check, you turn out more. And this is the idea. The hips, they always follow the feet. Where the hip is, that's where the foot is, that's where the hip will go. You understand? So the hip action, I have to say, not necessarily about you, but generally in the world, I'm, like I said, getting on a bit in age, becoming old-fashioned, whatever. I watch the competition these days, not so much hip action. A lot of shoulder action. A lot of ears action. Not so much hip action. For me, it's a big problem, because if there is no hip action, it means the quality of the movement from foot to foot, not there. Only pictures. So not great. So it's not only because I want to see your butts move, which also is a motivation, but the quality of movement is very much dependent on it. And this is why hip action is not only for girls, my friends, right? It's for men too. And if I do it right, if I use the weight, if I shift it through the feet, I don't look funny. I'll only look funny if I just wiggle. That's not what we're talking about, right? We're talking about using the weight through the foot, creating the action. So try that. Feet slightly turned out. Feel your weight through the floor. Don't lower, don't lift. Normal. We can talk about posture too. There's a lot of... And this, also popular. I'm already having a cramp, just trying it. For me, not so much. Normal. Straight, spine vertical, hips, the spine is in the middle of the hips. Your forward should be the same as your back. If the hips are back, then it's one-sided or not symmetrical, right? So the hips, the spine is in the middle of the hip, and then the hip goes equally around, diagonal forward and diagonal back. So trace the feet with your hip bone. Go diagonal forward, that's going to be your pendulum, and then you go around the spine to the heel. Tung, tika, tung, tika, tung, tika, tung, tika. This is your basic motion. We call it Cuban motion. Try. Let me have a look. Very nice. Everybody looks good. Now, I'm going to touch just very briefly. We're going to do more solo work because I know you're going to have more lectures tomorrow. Espen is doing partnering work. There's nobody in the world better probably at that, so I won't go there too much, but just a little because I hear a lot of complaints about connection. You guys complain about connection a lot, okay? So I'll tell you straight away. Firstly, connection is a consequence of action. There's going to be no connection if you're not moving. The thing that makes me laugh the most when I travel all over the world is this one. So we're going to practice Rumba, back basic. You get into your position. me too, and we go, no, too heavy, too light, you're in the wrong position, I don't feel you. So an hour goes by, we're still arguing about connection. What is the problem? Nobody did a step. Nobody did a single thing, but already problem with connection. This is not how it works. So in this particular situation, I stand on my foot, she's standing on hers, we touch hands. It's the end of story. Right? This story is over, now we have to move. If my action is right and her action is right, at the end of the action or during it, we're going to get a feeling. So in the back basic, for example, we both step, never together, really, because we're not moving in the same direction, not at the same time, but especially on the check. I stop, she walks away. Bye. And because she goes away and keeps going, we're going to create some sort of a connection. You can call it a pull, or whatever, but there's going to be a feeling. This feeling is a consequence, direct consequence of action, right? And if the action is right, the feeling is positive. And if the feeling is not positive, there's something wrong in what you are doing.